beautiful souls. I hope that you're having a great day today. It is October 15th, 2024, and it is time to vibe with the tribe and feed your prediction addiction on this episode number 138 of Tuesday's Predictions Update. Today, we are going to discuss the current alleged land grabs that seem to be occurring after Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, and now with the massive fires that the media is not talking about that are occurring in Wyoming, where an alleged multi-billion-dollar mineral deposit was recently discovered. Is it true? Is it conspiracy? Well, we're going to put that out in front of you today, and the information's quite shocking to some, maybe quite shocking to everyone. Are we seeing a repeat of the Lahaina fires that happened in Hawaii, along with those that have happened in California, where now the land's condemned and taken over by the government? Is that what we're seeing in North Carolina? Is that what we're seeing down there and up there in Wyoming? And more importantly, again, who's going to be next? Could this be the way for the global elite? Perhaps also Bill Gates. Could he perhaps have his eye on Tampa Bay, Florida? He actually does. And I'm going to tell you about that today. If you're in Tampa Bay, Florida, you're going to want to know about it. The economy, or at least the stock market, even crypto, has been up over the past few weeks and continues to rise. Could this be a good sign for next year's economy? Even though past predictions talk about economic falls and collapses. Or is this just, the quiet before the storm, the good before the storm? It isn't really quiet. The markets are up. But are they about to drop significantly, perhaps by the end of the month? Could more banks be closed? Could you be one of the people waiting in line trying to access money from one of those money machines in the near future? What you need to know today, and what potentially is on our doorsteps right now. And not only that, could China's economy impact the rest of the world in the near future? It sure will, and I'm going to tell you how. So many folks keep asking me, is the United States heading in towards a civil war? Almost as if some of them are wishing for it. By the way, some people talk, some part of you thinks, are they wishing for such a thing? We don't want that to happen. We don't want that civil war. Definitely not. But is there potentially a hit like that happening to the United States of America in the near future? Could it possibly also be, again, the astrological alignments point to such events occurring in the future? The same astrological alignments that occurred during the last Civil War, and the only civil war here in the United States and Northern America. All those alignments are back in place. What does this mean? Because it certainly looks like it could be heading towards this direction of civil war. The astrology, again, states something huge is definitely happening in America, and it's coming in the coming year, and it's happening now as we speak. But what is it exactly? Civil unrest, for sure. But what other pieces could go to the puzzle of what's going to happen? I'm going to explain some of that to you today. Back in my 2024 predictions, Spirit warned us to watch for the month of October. And I put those out in December of last year, the annual world predictions. As a matter of fact, I'll be putting them out soon in December for subscribers, supporters, more than subscribers. Subscribers get it in January on New Year's Day. It's a tradition. So moving on to these light codes in this period of solar maximum that Spirit told us was going to occur in the month of October. And here we are in October, and we've had flashes of light coming in. And Spirit said there'd be flashes of light accompanied by ascension codes that will be in place to awaken more of the masses. Well, Spirit was right on, because the past 2 weeks has been crazy when it comes to the activity on our sun. Not only that, we've witnessed the northern lights in places that we don't ever see the northern lights. Another thing that Spirit said that we would witness. And I've got some great photos from right here in Sedona, Arizona. And the last few times that we had those geomagnetic storms, I wasn't able to see them, but this time I was. So were many of my friends back east, where you definitely never see the northern lights. Amazing footage. So this is a big game changer, friends. This is a big game changer that is eventually going to lead to this great flash of light. Some flashes of light that we're not seeing, but we're feeling it, and you're sure have been feeling different over the past week or two, past 2 weeks to be exact, but especially over the past weekend. Have you noticed the energy shift? Have you noticed your attitude shifting into a more positive vibration? All has to do with the sun, even though some people don't believe that the sun has anything to do with anything. The sun has everything to do with everything, actually. What about this big flash that's coming? When could that be coming? What good is actually coming in our future? Because, a lot of things that we talk about, unfortunately, are all the current horrors and tragedies that are happening all over our planet. But what good is to come from any of this? There's a lot of good, and we're going to talk about a lot of that good today because folks say I don't talk enough about good, even though I put out a top 10 good predictions and nobody really seemed to watch as much as normal videos. But we're going to cover some positive today. And some negative. We're going to be like a battery, equal polarity of positive and negative. And remember my past prediction of large explosions and even biolab explosions that I talked about over the past 2 years? Along with that Illuminati card that I showed you all. One of them shows a lab explosion, a biolab explosion. Did you know that just actually occurred this past month, in the past few weeks, in Georgia, the state of Georgia, not the country? And to make matters even more concerning, the Georgia environmental official who was on the case totally collapsed while speaking and then passed away, friends, shortly after testifying about this toxic biolab fire that's occurring or has occurred in Georgia. What are they hiding, friends? They're hiding something for sure. We're going to talk about that and the future of other biolab incidents and accidents. And could Emmanuel Macron be the Antichrist? There's always people being thrown into that category of the Antichrist. But could Macron be one? Have you ever thought of that? And I only state this because of one thing. And I'm not saying that he is, because I don't believe he is at all. But I'm just saying, he does align perfectly with what he's creating right now with the prophecies from the book of Revelation. Because now Macron wants to build an EU military, an army just for Europe. Isn't that what NATO is supposed to be for? Why would he want to build one separately from NATO? Bringing together other countries. I'm going to tell you how this aligns in prophecy and why this is quite concerning, to say the least. Also, we have several concerning outbreaks, which was in my October forecast to watch for outbreaks and what that could lead to in the coming year. Should we be concerned? Well, we should always be mindful, not necessarily concerned to the point of fear. It was in the October forecast, though, to keep an eye out for outbreaks. So what outbreaks should we be most concerned about? So much happening in our world and so much more that's still yet to head our way in the near future. So get your teapot ready and get your tea brewing, friends, because y'all know what time it is. And I say to you, hey, boo.
It's Tittle tea time, baby.
Beautiful souls, beautiful tribe. Once again, I welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel and you want to vibe with our awesome tribe and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, you just got to reach over down below this video and smash that there subscribe button, friends. Join our amazing tribe. Hit the bell and all so that you get notifications, and definitely you want to click that thumbs up love button. Not just to show your love, but also to show the algorithms that you want more content like this to show up on your feed, and also to get this content out to more people. Thanks for posting it and sharing it with others, because sharing is caring. Remember, you can catch me on Spotify, Rumble, and other platforms. Down below in the description, you will find the links to those platforms, along with the Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters who help make this free content possible for everybody else, along with the members of this community and all the other love and support that comes in. I appreciate you all with infinite love and gratitude. Also, sign up for the free newsletter below, so that way you know what's happening in the beginning of every month with the astrology, the numerology, and any past content that you could have missed, with upcoming classes, sometimes special offers, and so much more. And speaking of upcoming classes, my next class and final class of the year begins on the next full moon. Not the full moon coming up on the 17th, but the full moon coming up in November. Starts off with a powerful healing guided meditation for transform into abundance. Learning all the steps, clearing the energies, cutting the cords, and all the guided meditations and things that you need to open up to abundance, joy, and happiness. Check that out in the newsletter below or go directly to my website, Joseph Tittel, Tittel. I'm not Title, I'm Tittel, E-L, not L-E. Or you could just make it easy and go to spiritmanjt.com. Take it to the same place, friends. Take it to the same place. Also, I will be doing a Q&A, maybe tomorrow if I get enough questions. So what you need to do to have your questions addressed, potentially, is put the letter Q, capitalized, with 2 little quotations, followed by your question. One question. If you would list more than one question, we will pass right past to the next one. And I can't answer all questions, but I will try to get that together. Hopefully we'll get enough by tomorrow evening and I can go live. If not, I doubt I'll be able to go live Thursday. I have a busy schedule. So shall we move on then, friends, to episode number, gotta get my tea, friends, gotta get my tea. Episode number 138 of
Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time, baby.
So now that we stand directly in the middle of October and already witnessed many storms bringing disasters, crazy world events, chaos in the Middle East and over in Europe as well, and a continued push to trick and deceive the masses. It's interesting. It's even more interesting that more people are becoming aware of this. That's what makes it exciting. But now the evildoers are getting a little bit worried, friends. They're getting worried. They see people awakening. They see some of their little games that they play, in turn backfiring on them by making more people awaken. It doesn't get more exciting than that, friends. It doesn't get more exciting than people awakening. So this drives fear, into the fear pushers' faces. It reverses it, turns it back on them. They get a little taste of their own medicine, friends, a little taste of their own medicine. And being I was away last week, living it up in Pennsylvania and down there at the New Jersey shore and beach, I fell behind with updates and such. But one thing I do want to share with you as an amazing experience that I believe is a message for all of us. And that occurred at Asbury Park, New Jersey, while I was at the beach. And I thought y'all would really appreciate this. First, while I was at the hotel, opened up the curtains, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw something big jump out of the water. So I went for a closer look. I'm looking closer and closer. And then I see another one and another one. And they were the dolphins. The dolphins were swimming along, playing in the waves. But it gets even better, friends. It got even better when we went down to the beach. Let me tell you, I've been on these beaches in New Jersey thousands of times. No exaggeration, thousands of times. Used to go every day. When I was in my 20s, all the time we used to go. Pretty much almost every day. All the times, I've never had an experience quite like this one. When I saw something really big jump out of the water straight on, I was like, whoa, was that a whale? A whale of a tail? And then I saw the tail come out of the water. That was really cool. Wish I could have got a picture of the tail coming out of the water. So I saw a giant whale jumping out of the water, but then I saw another whale. And then another one. And then another one. And there were just literally at least a dozen of them out there. Maybe more. And not only that, I got to see, I don't know if everybody else saw it, but I got to see the whale when they shoot the water up through their blowhole, which I thought was really, really cool. And witnessing all these pods of dolphins and all these pods of whales literally playing together in unity right off the coast of New Jersey. Together. And, technically whales could eat dolphins if they wanted to, because whales are huge. I couldn't believe how huge they are. I only ever saw one at SeaWorld. And that was when I was younger, because I would never support SeaWorld in this day and age. Are they even around anymore? I hope not. But I think they probably are. It's all about the money, friends. So never in my life have I saw thousands of these, or thousands of times on the beach, never saw so many at one time. And witness them shooting out the blowhole was really cool. Way up. We're talking 20 feet in the air, that thing shot up. That was wild. So whales are associated with compassion, solitude, and they have the knowledge of both life and death. So the inhalation through their blowhole which again I got to witness many times while we were on the beach, symbolizes the freeing of one's creative energies. The whale also embodies profound spiritual wisdom, and they hold the key to deep emotional healing. And interesting enough, we just so happen to be in this astrological alignments in the 9 universal vibration of October, which is all about deep emotional healing. A nice little sign from our friends, the whales, and then comes the dolphins. Because the dolphins that accompanied the pods of whales are also very spiritual messengers from the angelic realms. The dolphin was there to inspire us to improve communication skills, to listen with empathy, and to express ourselves with love and with understanding. The way they flowed together so well, riding the wave, symbolizes unity and cooperation, and the dolphin can bring us harmony and balance. So I hope that you take my experience as an experience for yourselves and a message for yourselves as well. With all the craziness that's happening all over and all around us right now, let these energies of the whales and of the dolphins help assist you in flowing into a place of harmony and balance, because that's what they're there for. They're there to let us know that they can assist us in the spirit realms on those levels. Quite amazing, to say the least. Not only that, they are about unity. They're all about peace. So this is kind of symbolic to the planet Earth, because we certainly sure in the heck need some unity and peace on this planet for sure. And we can all agree on that. And the world certainly needs a whole lot of that. So we need a whole lot more whales and dolphins to come flowing in. But take this again as a sign for yourself, as I took it as a sign for myself, and let this help you to flow through these waves that we are going through, these tsunami waves that are hitting our shores, and allow you to flow through them and ride those waves like the dolphins and the whales, baby. Oh yeah, let us move on. While I was away last week, on October 11th, we had Pluto stationed direct with Capricorn, which was a green light when it comes to major shifts in our lives, friends. This brought in an intense energy of breakthroughs when it comes to areas of authority, areas of your career, and your long-term goals. Everyone literally should have felt quite a significant and hopefully positive shift in your life since the 11th of October. The Capricorn energy is here to remind all of us to reclaim our power, to step into our power, and to move forward with a more clear vision of what it is you want to build in your life and in your future. This comes up for my clients all the time. You have to have a vision. You don't need to know the directions on how to get there. You just need to know the vision, the destination. Universe is your Uber driver. When you get into an Uber, you don't give them directions. You don't get in there and try to find your way around without a map or GPS. You give them a destination. The universe is asking you right now, what is your destination? When I lived back east, I used to say every day, my Joseph in the future is living out west. And I had a list I read every day, more than once a day. And it manifested better than what I could have ever even dreamed of. You got to get that. This is the perfect timing to start getting your vision of your goals and your future into clarity. October 13th, we had Mercury entering into Scorpio, making it a period of time where communication becomes very intense, probing, and deeply transformative. Little surface level communications and conversations are not going to cut it right now, friends. Not now. Because this transit encourages us to dig very deeply beneath the surface and explore the deeper truths in our relationships, thoughts, and in our interactions. This is an excellent time for you to do some research, some investigation, or some deep personal reflection, which I'm sure you have noticed yourself doing over the past few days already, without even knowing this alignment was happening. I caught myself doing that the past few days. So be aware that this Scorpio energy can also cut very deep, like very deep. So be very mindful of your words and how you come across to people. Because again, you could be cutting them much deeper than you realize. Coming up on October 17th, 2 more days, friends, We have Venus entering Sagittarius, backed by the very powerful new moon in the sign of Aries. So Venus entering Sagittarius is going to bring with it a fresh breath of adventurous, optimistic energy, especially when it comes to your love life, when it comes to your finances. Both of those areas highlight it greatly. We could even witness some ups and downs when it comes to the markets and when it comes to crypto on the 17th. I'm going to say more ups, of course, when it comes to the date the 17th, just that day, on the full moon as well. That's the same day. So this incoming energy is going to encourage us to seek new experiences. It's going to encourage you to expand your horizons and even infuse more joy into your relationships. This is a great time, friends, for travel, to get out there and explore new places. A great time for learning and, again, exploring new avenues in your life, new avenues of philosophy and so forth, especially in the realms of love and when it comes to your personal values. Now, the full moon in Aries on the same day, that is going to fill the sky and all of us with this very bold, courageous energy. I'm looking forward to it personally. The only downside to this full moon energy is when it comes to world leaders. For example, say Iran, Israel, or even Russia or Ukraine deciding to make what they believe is a courageous move in the current conflicts. Hopefully they don't. But the courageous moves can always bring things to an end. We can hold that in the light too. Because the full moon, as we go into that waxing moon cycle, or waning moon cycle, it's all about getting rid of. So remember, full moons are all about culmination and release, getting rid of. And Aries, backing up this full moon that's coming, it's all about stepping again into your power and into your independence. It'll be a great time for you to take bold actions, close some chapters of anything that's been holding you back, and to claim your personal sovereignty. Aries energy is assertive, direct, and pioneering. So use the coming full moon on the 17th as a way to charge your life and blaze a new trail to your amazing, abundant, and joyful future. So let's move on and let's start with some positive and what good is there to come. People say you don't say enough good stuff. I do. They choose to hear the negative over the good. But I good stuff every week. But a balance today. So with so many horrors and so many tragedies hitting all over our planet, of course it could be quite hard to see anything good rising up through all these tragedies. But in order for us to truly awaken the masses, it's going to take some trying events and trying times that will eventually lead to our planet moving into a more amazing direction. It may not seem that we're moving in an amazing direction, but we are, without a doubt. It's just the bumpy road that we're riding on to get there. So Spirit has informed us of so much coming our way between now and the year 2032, both the good and the not so good. And unfortunately, it appears that there is much more not so good things going on and occurring, with very little good things appearing before us. But Spirit ensures us that there actually is a whole lot of good that's happening. We just may not be seeing it all very clearly at this point in time. But that clarity is opening up like a doorway. And when it opens, bright light appears, like crossing over into the heavens. Except we are crossing over to a heaven on earth. A time when all humanity is literally forced to come together, and not really forced with your hands behind your back, but forced to come together in pure love. But in reality, again, it's not because we're forced as much as we're becoming more willing, more open. Our hearts open, people open, and the hearts open up to strangers. Bringing all these pieces together in unity and in pure love. It's just the time to get us to that point. And it is the path of darkness through that dark, spooky forest with creatures jumping out every turn. That's what it seems like. We're walking through a creepy Halloween haunted forest or a haunted hayride. And every corner, there happens to be a spook jumping out at us, scaring us around every turn. And this is where we're currently walking in life, the planet. We seem to be walking through that haunted hayride, through the dark forest. But just ahead, I assure you, and Spirit assures us, there is light. And it's going to be the angelic beings that start jumping out from every corner, ensuring us that the new pathway of light and unity is right around the bend. Something to look forward to. And the true world war that is already occurring, they say the Third World War, world conflict, there is one already occurring. The true world war is what Spirit called it. It's already occurring, and it's doing so in another dimension. It is a war between the dark and the light. A war that we are all very familiar with. This conflict against the darkness is going to go nuclear, metaphorically speaking, of course, in 2025. But Spirit ensures us that from this destruction, new foundations are going to be formed. Humanity is going to get to a point which we are already seeing and moving towards, and that is a point where we simply get sick and tired of all the conflict. Sick and tired of all the liars and the lies and the corruption. And sick and tired of the enslavement the dark billionaire overlords are pushing on us. People are already getting to that point. You see it. But still, there's not enough that are awakened yet. We need the masses to awaken. And I still feel that could be a few years out. But this big awakening is coming, and just even before this month comes to an end, according to the spirits. Lots to look forward to, friends. You just got to stay focused on the lots to look forward to. So it is going to be a conflict. The famines and other events that are accompanied by these flashes of light. Some that are not seen by the naked eye, while the brightest of these lights, say a supernova type of flash, is going to be seen and witnessed by all. These flashes of light, Spirit says, have already begun. And if you recall in my 2024 prediction, Spirit pointed to the month of October being a solar maximum, accompanied by these new ascension codes put into place to awaken humanity to a whole nother level. It's kind of as if we were stuck on an elevator, right? And the lights went out and we're stuck on this elevator. And finally the elevator starts to move upwards to the next floor. Our goal, of course, is to reach the penthouse, the top floor of the building. And that's where we're heading. But we're just moving up one more floor. And I feel like we moved up that floor this week, over the weekend. No doubt. Especially with the alignments and the geomagnetic storms and so forth. Speaking of geomagnetic storms, this brings me to the Northern Lights, which has been quite amazing to say the least. So back in my 2024 predictions, again, I warned to watch October for the solar maximum. Well, Spirit did. I didn't. I take no credit. It was the spirits. And flashes of light coming with those codes that's going to awaken the masses even more. And we see that. Look at people awaken just from the tragedies that happened in North Carolina. And now people are awakening to what's happening in Wyoming, which I'm going to tell you all about today. So Spirit was right on with all of this because the sun has continuously sparked one flare after another. As soon as October rung in, I think the first ones came in October 2nd. So it started happening right away. Just over the past week, we witnessed more light rolling in from the sun that brought the Northern Lights to places that it's never been seen. Like right here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. That is right out front behind me, even though it's behind me, but that's what it looks like out front. And last time we had this, I tried to go out and photograph it. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can see the Northern Lights better through a lens of a camera, which is odd. Sometimes you can't see it with your naked eye, but when you hold your camera towards the north, you see it very clearly. I think that's kind of interesting, to say the least. And it's kind of very interesting. It fascinates me. Why is that? Why does the camera see it and I can't? Camera had better eyes than we do, maybe. I don't know. Maybe someone has an explanation in the comments. So these Northern Lights showed up here and the skies were just absolutely gorgeous. And a few months back, you couldn't see the Northern Lights here when everybody else was able to see them. Up in Flagstaff, Arizona, they were able to see them. My niece is up there. She sent me pictures, but I still wasn't able to see them down here. And I'm in a canyon. I thought it would make it harder. But then I got to see them over the past week and the amazing pictures that went along with it. And I can imagine it was even cooler down in Sedona, because I'm really not in Sedona. I'm outside of Sedona. And then outside of Philadelphia, our friends back east in Bucks County and in Philadelphia. Not so much in the city because it was too much light pollution. But they witnessed it and sent me pictures. And I grew up there. And never in my life has that ever happened that I can recall. Unless I was a little tiny, itty bitty little ankle biter. So that, again, is what Spirit told us was going to occur. And there's much more to come, including that massive flash of light. But when exactly? So as you know, placing a timeline on any events is pretty challenging. And timelines and times shift, and that's probably why it makes it even more challenging to put a timeline on things or a date on things. Most challenging thing to do in the psychic realm. But in reality, I feel at the soonest, the biggest flash, the one that we all see, feel, and experience that changes everything, even our DNA structure. At the earliest, 2025. I mean, it still could happen by the end of this month. Remember, October is a reflection of next year. So whatever happens in October, we can expect a lot more of next year. What did October start off with? Hurricane Helene, followed by Hurricane Milton, and another hurricane that nobody's talking about that totally wiped out Acapulco, Hurricane John. And there's more to come. So if we're seeing this just in the first 2 weeks of October, a reflection of next year, this shows that next year is going to be probably, without a doubt, the worst hurricane season ever on record, with the most hurricanes ever on record. We have to watch the economy too. The economy is pretty strong right now, but is it going to continue? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But going back to these flashes of light, and this flash of light, I feel again at the soonest it could play out is 2025. Even 2026, because when we go into 2026, we step into the one universal vibration in numerology. It's when we start all over again. We go through 9-year cycles. Right now, we're in the 8 universal year. Next year is the last year, final year of the cycle. In 2026, we go into the 1 year of new beginnings and new starts. That could be the time, right at the end of 2025 into early 2026. But overall, I'm thinking more closer to 2029, actually. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's move on to my next subject and topic, artificial intelligence, and some predictions revolved around that from my team of amazing spirit guides. And as scary and as creepy as artificial intelligence is, like human beings, it's just like us in the fact that it's 50% or half positive and half negative. It's just what we plug into. We can see with some humans, they're plugged into more negative than positive, and we see the vice versa. I had a friend back east back in the day. It was always love, 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 love. I'm like, do you ever have a bad day? Oh, yes. I'm like, well, you sure don't act it. I think this is a little too positive. Just a little bit. There needs to be a balance, friends. And when it comes to AI and artificial intelligence, we are soon going to see governments placing limits and regulations on AI systems. First, we're going to have to witness the negative aspects of artificial intelligence, like stealing people's identities, taking people's jobs and careers while impersonating and tricking people with fake footage, and the list just goes on and on and on. But in the long run, artificial intelligence is going to be an amazing tool responsible for bringing about cures for diseases such as diabetes and many forms of cancers, especially children's cancers, are going to be some of the first ones that AI accomplishes and comes up with cures and treatments for. AI is already being used in a sinister way when it comes to fighting conflicts and assisting both offensive and defensive sides of these conflicts and militaries. It's going to get to a point where it is really artificial intelligence that's making these decisions and fighting these conflicts. So therefore, we would, in turn, not have to rely on people actually fighting conflicts when it's going to actually be AI. And there won't be no need for generals in the military because the general of the military would be artificial intelligence. And Spirit says they're already tampering with this now. Israel, very much tampering with that. So we should see something play out with artificial intelligence in these conflicts in the near future. And not only eliminating generals, but how about eliminating humans on the battlefield? In just the next few years, we are going to see artificial intelligent controlled robots and machines going into war-stricken areas. And we may actually even win this by the end of this year, in the month of December to be specifically. And definitely, without a doubt, in the year 2025. But at first on a smaller scale, Spirit says. And then in the future, you'll see literally, lines of troops that are all military or all artificial intelligent robots. Spirit shows me I had a vision of a very large warehouse filled with military armed robots. Some were colored for conflicts in the desert. They were painted or colored to match the desert. While I saw others in this warehouse camouflaged, painted in camouflage. So that would be like fighting in the forest over the deserts. But I saw a warehouse filled with these friends. This warehouse was right here in the United States, according to Spirits. Russia has one too, according to Spirits. Not as big as the United States, but they're getting there. So they are going to begin using artificial intelligent controlled traffic lights. I thought this one was interesting. Traffic lights that are going to watch the intersections and change the lights accordingly, which would be better for traffic in the long run, Spirit said, because the artificial intelligence is watching and sees that there's nobody there at the intersection and someone's sitting at a red light. It can make it go green so that they can go. Interesting. Not even that. Also, the aspect of artificial intelligence that I don't like, which it's already being used for in China right now, is AI that tracks you with the cameras and literally builds up a file on your life that's in turn placed on government-controlled systems. I don't like that. Like the social credit score system that they use in China. That's the part I don't like at all. Going back to traffic lights, traffic signals. AI will be able to report and call in emergency services by monitoring the camera systems that are placed on all the highways. Interesting. So they're going to link all those cameras that you see all over on the highways and bridges to artificial intelligence, which is going to watch and control all the traffic and be able to shift and change traffic and, again, put emergency services in places before people even make the phone call. So that's interesting. Now, another thing I saw, and this isn't even in my notes, I forgot to mention this. When I was in Pennsylvania, driving on that turnpike, going through those Easy Pass things, and thank goodness I bought when you rent a car, you can rent a Easy Pass. Thank goodness I didn't know that you couldn't pull over and get a ticket anymore and then stop and pay cash. You can't do that anymore, not in Pennsylvania or Jersey. You actually have to have an Easy Pass, or they bill your license. And what would they have billed? The person I rented the car from? That wouldn't have been good. But what came to me is that they're going to start tracking the speeds of the vehicles going past the Easy Pass. And then they're going to start mailing tickets to people in the mail. And that's going to become a huge controversy. And it's going to eventually stop people from speeding on major arteries like the turnpikes. They're already initiating this, according to Spirit. Interesting. What's even more interesting is the economy. As we continue to see the dollar fall, the economy, or at least the stock market over the past few weeks, has actually been up more than anything. Crypto's up. A few of them are down, but overall, the markets have been pretty good. Not really bad at all. Even though in my predictions, I said watch for October for big drops in the markets, and I still feel like this is extremely still plausible. Because I feel that there's still a big event that's going to occur. I'm not sure what it is, and I'm sure this big event will affect the markets. especially if this big event hits the United States, as I feel like it will. Something big that will, in turn, potentially cause a delay to the elections. How convenient. How convenient for them. So not only that, we've also seen gold and silver continue to rise, and Spirit's been telling us for many, many years now to invest in gold and silver mainly, in food and water and things for survival. Spirit's been telling us that for 6-7 years at least, maybe even longer, maybe the past decade. But mainly silver is what Spirit said. And those who took that advice going back many, many years ago should have already made a profit. So hopefully you made a profit. Hopefully some of you took that advice. I didn't take that advice, my own advice, as soon as I would have liked to, but I couldn't. But I did take that advice later. And I'm waiting for silver to drop just another little bit before I go in and buy more. And that's what you should do. Wait for it to drop just a little bit. Between, say, 80 cents and $1.20. Because it's going to continue to rise. And it's going to be a big thing in the future. It's the best long-term investment. So Spirit continues to show me visions of lines at banks and at ATMs. Along with signs, I saw visions of signs on bank doors that said closed. And people being upset that the sign said closed. And one of the banks, when I looked in the vision and looked in the window, it looked like they emptied everything out. It's like the bank moved out in the middle of the night. Like a bad tenant. Like a bad tenant in the apartment building moves out in the middle of the night. I felt like I was somewhere in Europe. Maybe in Italy with that one. But I feel like this is, again, hitting all over the place. But Europe and Italy just popped in my head. And more than anything, Spirit says, watch the euro. The euro is going to what? When the euro falls, everything will fall following. So it'll be the euro that'll fall before the American dollar falls. So that means that there's got to be some type of a huge event hitting Europe, which probably will be related to the conflicts that are going on there right now. I also see that I see a couple of cyber attacks. Going back to the bank doors being closed, I see more small banks closing. And the cyber attack affecting one of the bigger banks, or multiple bigger banks. And I believe Bank of America is going to be one of them. And Wells Fargo is going to be the other. I also see some type of an issue, perhaps a hack attack, cyber attack of sorts, that hits Wall Street directly. And it felt to me like some type of temporary outage, whether it be a power outage, a power outage that hits New York City Stock Exchange. I would think that they have backup power for that place, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think they have backup power? I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone can confirm that in the comments, but I would think they'd have backup power. But I felt like everything went out. Everything went black. So whether that Spirit showed me an actual literal outage from the power, or perhaps more likely an outage that occurs with their trading systems, with their computer systems. And perhaps it could be both. A hack to their trading systems and computers, and then a hack to the power itself. I'm not clear, though, when this actually occurs. But I do know that it's not far off our doorsteps in the near future. So, if not this year, definitely in 2025. And let us move on to land grabs, because it seems to be a lot of that going on lately. So are we actually witnessing that? Is that what's really happening right now? Are the global elite flexing their muscles using patented technology to take control of land that they want, so that they can greatly profit from it, of course? We saw this occur in California with the wildfires and the land grabs that happened in the land that was seized by the government after these fires in parts of California. Parts that people still can't access. Parts that are now being used by, say, oil companies, for example. Interesting, they got that land cheap now, didn't they? We saw the same thing occurring, and we witnessed that same similar tragedy happening in Lahaina, Hawaii last year. On October 8th, or August 8th. The Lion's Gate, all symbolic of fire, all the same day. I don't believe in coincidences, friends, and I know most of you, if not all of you, don't believe in coincidences either. So we have those happening. So wasn't this a land grab from the elite so that they can go in and take land at dirt cheap prices while driving hardworking folks out of their homes and off their land and property? We saw this with Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene destroyed everything, and it destroyed an area. And this is a fact. You can look up the facts yourselves. An area where BlackRock and Vanguard associates just attempted to buy people out so that they can start mining lithium from beneath their properties. The people resisted and said, no, we're not selling. Months later, they are literally wiped off the land, friends. They are literally wiped off the land permanently. And we know for a fact, and also know, that this is not a conspiracy. This is what happened. Look it up for yourself. And it's not just lithium. There's also the most clear quartz that's used in special computer chips, also in the North Carolina mountains. And now these people, they're already trying to buy their land and getting calls, just like they did in Lahaina, calls from real estate people. Some people, they're not even allowed to access their land. You know, people in Lahaina still can't go to their properties. It's still guarded by security, probably government security. What's up with that? Yeah, the future smart city. That's exactly what's going to go into Lahaina. That's exactly what they want to do in Tampa Bay, Florida, too. So we're currently, I'll get back to that in a moment. But we are currently seeing, but not hearing at all very much about the massive wildfires that are already burned more than 80,000 acres of forest in Wyoming. Just so happens, believe it or not, again, friends, several big discoveries were made. Several, not just one, several, made in these mountains of Wyoming, right where all these fires are. The story is very similar to North Carolina. Major discoveries that are going to make the United States a pioneer in these minerals. Here's the article. Wyoming hits the rarest Earth mother lode. Yes. The discovery of a 2.34 trillion metric tons of rare earth elements near Wheatland, Wyoming, signals the beginning of a new era in the competition for the raw minerals that power the global economy. This is going to give the United States an unparalleled economic and geopolitical edge against China and Russia for the foreseeable future. Friends, does that not say it all right there for you? Right where all the fires are burning. Again, you can map it out and look it up for yourself. The biggest wildfires ever in history in Wyoming. And here's another one. New discovery in Wyoming may challenge China's dominance of rare earth minerals. I was trying to find out what the minerals were. And I saw it somewhere, and I can't pronounce two of those minerals at all. I can't pronounce them. But America's Rare Earths Incorporated is the company. And look, they even put their little stock exchange, little abbreviation there, so you could go invest in them. And they claim that the discovery is approximately 2.34 billion metric tons of rare earth minerals near Wheatland, Wyoming, which surpasses the 44 million tons the entirety of China possesses. Interesting. All right, then. I can't see where it says what minerals it is. But you can look it up for yourself, friends. You can look it up for yourself. I just wanted you to be aware about that and what was really happening. And here's another important thing, friends. What about future land grabs? Because we know there's going to be more. When there's one, there's more. So I decided to take a look in a very short period of time, and I'm going to go do more looking when I get a chance. But I just went and looked here in the United States. So I do highly recommend that you do some researching of this on your own, especially if you're in another country, whatever country you're in, wherever you may be tuning in from. Please do some research on this yourself to see if you can discover, again, a little quick research on any other discoveries of minerals in your area, recent discoveries, especially if people live there and they need to get to the land to mine those minerals. Because that's the problem. They might own the lithium deposits or the mineral deposits, but they don't own the land. They have to go in and buy the land. And when they have disasters, they can go in and buy it for cheap. Or the government can just go in and seize it completely. They can claim eminent domain and just take everything you got. Give you a couple dollars and send you on your way. And I do mean a couple dollars. Nothing as to what your property and assets are worth. So when I went and looked, I was stunned to instantly find a place that could be a potential area of interest to the global elite. And this is the world's largest. Now, people said it was North Carolina, but nope, there's another one. The world's largest deposit of lithium may have been discovered in the United States supervolcano, helping to boost mining companies' stock price. The world's largest deposit of lithium may have been found inside the ancient U.S. supervolcano. That's according to a study conducted by the Lithium Americas. And it is the McDermott caldera, which they say contains 20 to 40 million metric tons of lithium. Of course, Lithium America's stock, after this announcement, surged more than 7% on Monday after this study was published. And this was back on September 2023. Know where this is? Well, I just told you. The McDermott caldera, which is right along the borders of Nevada and Oregon, I believe is what I read. So that would be an area, friends, that we really need to keep an eye on. Unless something happened there already. You let us know in the comments, and anybody can point out to where that McDermott caldera is. It says it's on the border of Nevada and Oregon. I would imagine that there's going to be something really big that happens there. And I'll continue to dig down this rabbit hole to see where other discoveries are and other places that could be at risk. Moving on into the way of weather disasters. Last week, I did go live for a short period of time, warning our friends in Florida and urged folks to begin praying for our friends in Florida. No doubt the power of prayer really works, because I believe many people prayed for that, and we saw that storm shrink down in size, not causing as much disaster as it actually could have. Not to say that it didn't cause disaster. It certainly did. A lot of it. Some of the visions I still saw that big fire, and I didn't see anything about fire. So, will another hurricane hit? Well, no doubt, but I'm looking more towards a hurricane coming in from California being the next big one that really hits and really causes devastation to California. And I do feel like another one can still come up through the Gulf of Mexico. But folks are not talking about, another one thing that people aren't talking about is Hurricane John, which came right back to back with, was it Helene or Milton? I can't remember. Milton? Yeah, it was, John and then Milton. No. I have to think about this. I can't think. It was Helene first, then John, then Milton. Duh. I know my alphabet. But people aren't talking about this. Not here in the United States, they're not talking about. They're all talking about Helene or Milton, but they're not talking about Hurricane John. And if you haven't, I didn't put any footage together, but you can go look it up for yourself. Again, the footage of Acapulco after Hurricane John came wiping through is apocalyptic looking. Like everything's underwater, friends. Just like we saw with Helene. But in Acapulco, which Acapulco is supposed to be, a rich American tourist spot for people to go, or just a rich tourist spot in general. But they also applied, whether you know this or not, they also applied to put a smart city in Acapulco. Remember the list? We went through the list before on the show. They also applied for that same smart city in Tampa Bay, Florida. That's why I really thought that Tampa was going to get it. In Tampa Bay, Florida, you guys lucked out. Not that you didn't get hit, but you lucked out. Because I tell you, did you know Bill Gates owns a very large stake in Tampa Bay, Florida? A very large stake. He also owns one of the patents on controlling hurricanes. several different ones. He owns one of them. And again, you can look it up for yourself if you don't believe me. So I have no doubt that the folks in Tampa better have an escape plan. And again, I tell you all the time, no matter where you are, you should have an escape plan and always have food and resources and so forth. Always keep connected with your neighbors. Always make a pact with the people near you, because when it comes down to it, it's going to be your neighbors that you're going to need. That's the only ones that you're going to have. I mean, look at, again, North Carolina or even Milton. It was people that depended on each other, because your government sure in the heck ain't going to do anything for you. They're going to send all that money and help people over in Europe and help people in Israel and not help our own people, which is disgusting if you ask me. But you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you anyway, it's disgusting. So going back to friends in Tampa, again, I have an escape plan. I saw in a past vision another Lahaina type of fire along the coast. And we did see this happen soon, not long after I saw that, in Chile. But now I feel there's another on the horizon. And I certainly hold in the light. It's certainly not Tampa or anywhere in Florida or anywhere in general. But I feel like it's being ignited purposely. So with Bill Gates owning such a huge stake in Tampa Bay, Florida, and wanting to change that into his own little smart city, I'd be very leery about that. And I certainly wouldn't be moving to that town. I'm not moving anywhere, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be moving there. And I feel like there's also 2 more major hurricanes hitting. And that's just within the United States, because we're the ones that do hurricanes. But more waters are heading towards our friends in Japan. I see some mudslides hitting Japan, so they're about to get hit with a big, what do they call them there, typhoons, heading up through there. And even in Beijing, China, I see major things hitting and causing floods in the streets. Indonesia, I feel a great shaking is coming to Indonesia. A big shaking. So that means a volcanic blast is coming to Indonesia as well. These things are coming to me now. And I still feel like that activity underneath the Pacific Ocean is still stirring up, which would eventually bring my vision of a massive earthquake and tsunamis hitting coastlines on both sides, both the west and the east. So hitting, say, California, but also hitting, just an example, Japan. It's going to be big. So I feel that vibration still happening under the sea. And I will work on a new weather prediction video in the near future, because I have no doubt that we are heading into maybe the worst winter on record, depending on where you live. Actually, no doubt the worst winter on record, depending on where you live. And I say, especially where I live, I have no doubt, because the little mice and the little rats and all the little birds and chipmunks have been showing me behavior. Always watch the animals, friends. Always pay attention to the animals. And I pay attention to them, and they're telling me this year to bunker down. It's going to be a rough one. So let us move on to another topic: biolabs and explosions. Biolabs and explosions. So remember my past prediction of large explosions, which we did see many of them come into fruition. But I also said a while back that I saw biolab explosions, and I also showed you the Illuminati card that shows, I should have got those cards and showed you a couple of them today. But you've seen them. You can go look them up for yourself. There's even one that shows everything that happened basically in 2020. I think, what's the card called? I think the card is called Pandemic, maybe? But there is one that says biolab explosion. And we did actually just see that happen. That just occurred earlier this month. And I don't know if that was because of a result of the Hurricane Helene, but it happened in Georgia. And to make matters even more concerning, friends, the Georgia environmental official who was on the case collapsed and then passed away. He just keeled over, friends, and just went bye-byes. Right after he testified about this toxic biolab fire. What are they hiding, friends? They're obviously hiding something. And when you look at the size of this explosion and the creepy red cloud of smoke, it makes you wonder what is literally being released and inhaled by the people, the birds, and the animals too. And even more concerning, is, again, what happened to the Georgia official after it happened. Georgia environmental official collapses and passes. Shoot, why does it do this to me? It's not going to let me read this article. Anyway, he passed away. Overall, is it connected to the biolab? Absolutely, no doubt. And it's more connected to the fact that he was basically in charge of calling them out. So obviously, once again, they're hiding the truth in this particular case. The man is no longer alive, friends. The man who was literally sent to investigate. So again, was it the fumes of the toxic smoke? Did someone target him and fear that he was going to blow the whistle, perhaps? Or a combination of both? I'm going to go with a combination of both. And I see another vision of a biolab explosion and emergency occurring over in China. So friends, let us all hold in the light that this isn't a repeat and end up like what happened in 2020. Biolabs are going to become a huge focus in the public eye as more truths are exposed about these biolabs and what is contained behind their closed doors. A small breach from a biolab in Europe is going to cause alarm. It will be events like that are going to bring biolab truth to the light and force folks to begin protesting against such facilities in their neighborhoods and in their nearby towns and cities. I also see another biolab incident taking place between Russia and Ukraine, likely being in the Ukraine. I had visions of people dressed in white chemical suits with gas masks on, something likely that's going to hit during combat or something that's going to be hit in combat, something not good at all if we see guys in white suits, people in white suits. And I believe that this is biolab related, but of course it also could be some other type of radiation leak happening in Ukraine and Russia. Next subject is civil war. I don't need your civil war. We do not need no civil war, friends. Because so many folks keep asking us, the United States going towards civil war? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Mainly because we have all these astrological alignments that are actually occurring that have not occurred since the last time they occurred was during the last Civil War. Some exact same astrological alignments that also last occurred over the United States and in the United States chart before and during the signing of the Constitution. So we have all these things that are coming to light in the United States and in the chart for United States. The Constitution shifts and changes, and we know they've been trying to rip our freedoms from the Constitution for decades now. So we're going to see things with the Constitution and people fighting to keep our Constitution solid. Some changes to the Constitution because some of those changes need to happen because it's all outdated. Somebody's in front of my house. Must be a delivery. That's more survival food, friends. When the psychic starts ordering survival food, you should do the same. Just saying. Just saying. So going back to these astrological alignments and everything that's happened during the last Civil War, could strongly indicate that a civil war is coming. But I don't see a civil war in the way that people may think, maybe some crazy people might hope happens. I see more civil unrest than anything. And I do see changes and shifts in the Constitution. This upcoming election is going to be a crap show. I said it. There's going to be one winner. They're going to flip it to make it someone else the winner, and it's just going to be a crap show. This is going to bring the major divide to the United States, breaking apart the states. We're going to see states leaving the Union. We might even witness a period where there are two presidents at the same time, and Spirit just told me that. So that's interesting. That's a new one to me. We may witness a short time where there's two presidents that are president at the same time. Interesting. So what if that was the case? That, I don't know what happened, but the last part of that video got cut out. And I went to go edit my video and put it together, and the last part was missing. So let us just move on to the next topic because I am way behind now with technical issues. Civil unrest for sure. And I don't know if I said this because it all got cut out. Civil unrest, but not civil war in the way that they did back in the 1800s or what have you. More like unrest in states feuding between states, but not like literally physical fire, pow pow, but more like firing other types of weapons. It's the only way I can put it. It's going to be interesting. And eventually, it will divide the United States up into separate unions. And we really don't want that, because that's what the global elite want. Split us apart. Conquer and divide. And they've been conquering and dividing for a long time. Let us move on to the beast with 10 horns, which many people now believe is Emmanuel Macron, the leader of France. Some people believe he's the Antichrist, just like they thought Obama was, and some people still believe Obama is. Some people said it was Bush, Klaus Schwab, Soros, the list goes on and on. And I've said all along and still stick to the fact that last I checked in with Spirit, the Antichrist resided in Turkey. I don't know if he still resides there, because I haven't checked in a while, but that's where he was. And I only state that Macron, because people are saying it now. And the main reason is because Macron is now pushing for this European military, a European EU army. And he's trying to gather together 10 different countries to be a part of this union, which perfectly aligns in some people's minds with prophecy from the book of Revelation. The beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. That's from Revelation 13:1. Equal to the number of heads and horns in Daniel 7, indicating some type of a relationship. A relationship with 9 other countries, perhaps. The beast has crowns on its horns. That's in Revelation 13:1. The beast was like a leopard, and his feet was like those of a bear, and his mouth like that of a lion. Revelation 13:2. So, again, Macron wants to start this EU army, and he's now got, from what I read, 9 countries or 8 countries on his side. And of course, creepy Merkel supports Macron. Macron needs to try coming out of the closet first. Big old closet case, him and Obama. They probably hooked up somewhere along the line. And then Merkel, I don't know what it is about her, but she just gives me the willy willies big time. I don't know why, but she does. She just gives me a creepy vibe. But according to this article, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has called for the eventual formation of a European army, supporting the proposal of French President Emmanuel Macron, which angered the U.S. President Donald Trump. Even though this article, this was from 5 years ago. But people are talking about it even more now. I didn't realize that article was that old. But this is a big talk now, friends. A lot of people are talking about this now simply because he's gotten all these other people on his side. Several other people. Going back to the Revelation 13:1, I saw a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads rising out of the blackness of the sea. On its horns hung 10 crowns, and on its head were inscribed blasphemous names. So 10 crowns would be 10 countries, no doubt about it. The beast was like a leopard. Its feet were like claws of a bear, and its mouth was like the jaws of a lion. The dragon bestowed it with its power and with his throne and his great authority. So again, listen to that. The dragon bestowed it with his power and with his throne and his great authority. Could that be Macron? Potentially. One of the beast's heads appeared to have suffered a fatal blow, but its mortal wound had somehow been healed. Amazed by the miracle and its power, the earth followed the beast. So interesting. So we can look at this and say out of these 10 countries that form, if this is what it's referring to, which I surely have no doubt it is, one of these countries is going to suffer a fatal blow. But somehow that wound is going to be healed. So it'll be interesting because I feel like, again, this is on our doorsteps coming up in 2025. I want to know what you think in the comments down below, of course. And in other news, we have several concerning outbreaks, which was in my October forecast, and I can't go in depth because I'm already way past time. I'll talk more about this next week, but we have to keep an eye on the outbreaks that happen in October, because October, again, a reflection of next year, can show us what we need to be most concerned about. The two big ones that are outbreak is the bird flu again, of course. Anything to stop you from eating meat and chicken and all of it. And then the other one is the Norberg. That's the one to really keep an eye on, the Norberg virus. Other than that, in Germany, they had a pow-pow at a movie theater, which, as you know, was in my predictions in the past that I saw a pow-pow event taking place at a movie theater. This played out in Germany. The gunman is no longer with us. And reports say that it was around 3 p.m. in the afternoon where this guy barricaded himself in there and firing his pow-pow, taking hostages. Luckily, it could have been a lot worse, and it was not. Well, unfortunately, as Spirit told us, people losing their minds and people planning fear attacks on the innocent is going to come to light. We're going to see a lot of this in the month of December. So we got to get to November first, but we're going to see a lot of that in December. Just FYI. A few other predictions for you. It means I got to move on. First, I see a new injection for diabetes. It's like insulin, but it's much different. It's different in the way that would make a daily shot that someone has to take every day or several times a day into a monthly shot. Eventually coming to a point where a person would only have to get a shot once every 6 years, every 6 months, or once every year. This is all the information I received from Spirit on this injection for diabetes. It's not there yet, but Spirit made me feel it's in the works. So we should see that maybe within the next year, hopefully. And remember, the 9 vibration of October in 2025 is about endings and death of cycles. That could even mean endings of conflicts. That could mean the ending of a disease or an illness. So we got to look at that 9 vibration in a positive light, because the 9s do bring endings, and we sure need a lot of things to come to an end. Now, remember, I saw visions and predicted walkouts in the Senate and in Congress. I saw visions of Congress literally getting up as if they were going on strike. Well, this past prediction came to mind again, which usually always tells us, for those that are new to the channel, welcome to the tribe, by the way, when past predictions come to my mind again, it's likely because I either get more details about it or because it's on our doorstep. In this particular case, I believe it's on our doorstep, because with all the craziness with the upcoming elections and the elite, the global elite's push to lie and deceive in order to get the results that betters their agenda in the elections, this past prediction appears to be way more plausible now than ever. A big separation, a major separation and divide in Congress. And this isn't a two-party divide, friends. It's parties divided amongst parties, and big changes that will follow that. So it's not Republicans against Democrats or vice versa. It's Republicans against Republicans and Democrats against Democrats and a whole crap show. But big changes that follow. So I believe we're going to see that maybe in January or even before the end of this year, actually. I see major issues coming for cruise lines if you happen to be taking a cruise. First, I saw a vision of a cruise ship being invaded by water pirates. Pirates, yes. And I see this in turn bringing the issue to light even more so. In turn, concerning folks who are planning to cruise the same waters or the same cruise lines. Some cruise lines are going to be forced in the near future to change their routes entirely, while at the same time giving up several destinations, taking them off their roster. I also see some type of a huge outbreak that occurs on cruise lines. I see at least 2, and then earlier when I recorded this and it didn't work out, Spirit said a third, so 3 cruise ships this coming season being locked down and quarantined temporarily. I also had a vision of people like over the edge of the cruise ship rails, So there's going to be some type of major food poisoning type event that affects the whole cruise ship. And there's a 2 connected to that. And I believe that's 2 people that may not get off that ship intact. So prayers to that. If you're going on a cruise, just be mindful. Just be mindful. You can't be mindful of pirates. You don't have a choice. But stay away from waters where pirates can be. And there's going to be a lot of pirates in the future. So plan to see that. And plan to see me too in the near future with my Q&A. If you have a question that you want to address, just one question, down below in the comments, put a big capital Q. Just a capital Q. Do not write in all capitals in the comments or in the chat because you'll just end up getting deleted. Write the Q with 2 little quotes, little dots with your question. And if I have time, hopefully I will get, and if I have enough questions, not time, but questions, I will do a live tomorrow evening. Or Wednesday or Thursday evening, depending on how it goes. If not, and I don't get enough, then it'll have to be next week. We'll have to see. But leave your questions down below. And it's always good to give a thumbs up, show your love, click that love button, smash it, baby, because you're showing the algorithms to let this content show up on, more content like this to show up on your page, along with getting more people to join our tribe. Our amazing, awesome tribe. Remember, down below is the links to the newsletter, my website, spiritmanjt.com, josephtittel.com. Until the next time, beautiful friends, remember to be mindful when you're out and about. Celebrate life and celebrate you, and be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And most importantly, like my little sign over my shoulder, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Be you, baby. Let your light shine, and let it shine ever so brightly. And have a beautiful rest of your day, friends. Much love. Much love.